Hello everyone, we are SpiderByteMedia, Group 2. Thank you for taking the time to watch our final project presentation. I hope this video is reaching everyone well and that everyone's families are in good health. Our team is a web development team and consists of Alex Riley, our project manager and full-stack web developer, Braxton Minke, our graphic designer, Sean Cassidy, our full-stack web developer, and Aaron Eads, a back-end web developer. Over the past 2 semesters, we have been working for and closely with our 2 clients, Plan Purdue and MyLocalLegal, formerly known as Lawgle. They have been a joy to work with and have granted us great experience into working with clients in the web development world. The first client we're going to be covering is Plan. To get some background, Plan is a local Purdue-affiliated program that caters to non-traditional undergraduate students that attend Purdue's West Lafayette campus. Non-traditional students are students that are married, have a child, older than 23, or financially independent. We reached out to them due to their need for a new website to convey information to the students in their program and update their website using a modern style with Purdue's brand new guidelines. Plan has a very extensive team that we are very proud to work with and for. The team is as follows: Melissa Alaya, the Plan director, Max Dreyer, the student success web developer, and Andrea Mattingly, the student success communications director. In addition, we'd like to give a very special thanks to our faculty mentor, Casey Wright of the CGT department, who helped us extensively with website architecture and design. The needs of Plan essentially involved a complete organizational overhaul of their website's design. We would implement this updated platform using Cascade CMS to provide more organized pages and content and a more organized landing page with social media, events, and member information. From these needs of Plan and their input, we were able to form our opportunity statement for the project. We used this as a baseline for developing the platform. From input, we planned our scope for the project. The scope involved an overhaul using new Purdue brand / modern design in Cascade and the organization of content locations and accessibility. Deployment was not within our scope, but we would leave areas open for content to be placed in the future.
Here we have the old platform that Plan currently has for program members to locate information and keep up to date with Plan events. From our research, we noticed it was difficult for members to locate relevant information on the website. They were often faced with walls of text when reading, which made it difficult to locate information. The website was also in dire need of a modern facelift using the new Purdue brand guide toolkit. Here we have the prototypes we developed for the Plan homepage. On the left, we have our initial prototype that we developed last semester, and on the right, we have our prototype that we developed this semester that we followed more closely. A large hero image, a more refined getting started button, and areas for events and social media were our main focus for these initial prototypes. Our latest prototype is also more aligned with the new Purdue brand toolkit guidelines. And here we have our prototypes for the content pages. These content pages were divided up into a landing page and a landing subpage. Once we were able to analyze the hierarchy of the content within the Plan website, we ended up giving each category their own landing page that then linked out to subpages. So each landing page was defined with a large hero image, areas for content, and then the selector links that you can see that link out to the subpages. Each subpage sported a smaller hero image with a back and forth color block theme for content to be more evenly divided out and more accessible to users. Once we completed our prototypes and our research that we did with our stakeholders, we outlined what each page would need on the website. So the general idea of the website was broken into 3 different categories. This was the main index page users would land on first, the content landing pages, and the subpages or pages that were on their own. So the main index page would, instead of having a getting started button, would have big block of links in columns. It would have a carousel that would highlight students and their experiences with Plan, and there would be an area for social media and events. The landing pages would have general topic information about that specific topic, and it would have links and columns to subpages for the topic. And then the solo pages would have the reverse color block for the content, and some pages would sport a tab drop-down for event management or question management. The technologies we used to develop SpanPlan's new platform was HTML, JavaScript, and jQuery, and CSS within Cascade's content management service. Our first focus for our revised platform was the hero and navigation section of the website. The new SpanPlan platform sported a revised navigation bar that was more organized and a large hero image with SpanPlan's office name and their description. This gives the landing page a much better identity than the previous platform. Moving down the website, this next section below is what our initial Getting Started button turned into. These columns all link out to personalized Getting Started content subpages depending on the type of individual that is on the website. This includes transfer students, delayed enrollment students, or financially independent students, to name a few. These columns collapse and rearrange to fit on any device, and they allow for quick information right out of the gate when visiting the website. The next section on the page is our customized jQuery student highlight carousel. This was made using the slick.js library, and it was customized to fit SpanPlan's needs. Each student card sports an image of the student, their name, their major, and a little quote about what they had to say about the SpanPlan program. These cards link out to full page length interviews about that specific student. And at the end of the page, we have an area for students to stay up to date with SpanPlan. These are divided into two columns. On the left, we can see a rolling Facebook feed. And on the right, we have a Happening Now section. Right now, we have left it open for news events, but this can also be modified for program events. And here we have a side-by-side between the old platform index page and the new platform index page. We can see that students have a much more accessible and fleshed out content experience right on the first page that they visit within the website. The website also takes on a more modern look without risking accessibility or content management. When users click on a nav item, they are brought to pages similar to this. These are content landing pages. There are broad topics that link out to subtopics with more information. Links have been organized into columns that stack on mobile that have recognizable icons and descriptions. These pages have been left blank for content, so SpanPlan can add whichever content they want in the future. An example of the type of content they can add here is on the scholarship page, where we've actually added a jQuery counter showing the monetary amount of scholarships awarded and the amount of students that have received awards. And finally, we have our content pages and subpages. These pages are divided into alternating color blocks in order to break up content and allow for better organization of the content. Each page sports a navigation under the hero text in order to link quickly to other content subpages that are within their category. These are highly customizable for SpanPlan in the future. Right now, all we have is transferred over content from their previous platform, but that's always something that they can change. One thing we have added that really makes it highly customizable is an event dropdown jQuery item on the events page. This was an asset we created that allowed for the organization of events without flooding the page with content for the users. So they can just select which event they want to view more about and it'll drop down for them. We also use this on the FAQ section for an event page. After development was finished, we conducted small-scale usability testing in order to measure how effective our facelift was for the SpanPlan website. We selected 3 tasks that focused on finding relevant information on the website and rated them on how fast it took for the users to complete them. Overall, we saw an increase in accessibility in finding content on the new platform. During development, our team ran into some obstacles that hindered our development process. During our initial weeks, Cascade and ITAP were having issues connecting our career accounts to the Cascade platform. This slowed us down a little bit, but we recovered successfully. Also, with COVID-19, the SpanPlan team was not able to conduct business as normal and was not able to effectively collaborate in order to generate new content for this website. This means that some areas of the website are blank, but have been opened up to allow for content to be added in the future. The future of SpanPlan is bright with the new facelift of their platform. Most of their old content has been transferred over to the new platform, and our team gave a solid groundwork for the addition of new content to be added come their fall 2020 launch. Longevity and areas for content to be added have been greatly improved upon as well. Based on our feedback, we project that they will see a large uptick in website usage from new and continued members of the program.
This is our second project, Lawgle. They're a web company based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. They were our second project for web design. They were kind of bringing to the table a web development site and branding needs that connected lawyers to the correct clients as well clients to the correct lawyer depending on what kind of law firm they were working with and what kind of legal issue they were having, and trying to connect them both locally and around the nation, and trying to get that online communication gap bridged, trying to make sure that there's one central location for them to be able to find each other. These are our stakeholders for Loggle. We have Renee Reike, the owner. She's a lawyer with several years of experience out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. I've communicated with her multiple times, as well as trying to figure out that this platform has kind of been a passion of hers and trying to get this ball rolling on connecting the two parties together. We have our consumers who are trying to find lawyers, whether it be in bankruptcy or divorce attorneys, kind of trying to find which lawyer best suits them and trying to navigate this uncomfortable field of getting a correct lawyer and what lawyer suits you based on your needs. We have our faculty advisor, Casey Wright, within the CGT department. She's helped us numerous occasions through our first project of Span Plan, but most importantly with Loggle in communicating with the CEO and trying to navigate contracts, workload management, and kind of direction of the site, as well as different coding languages and other things that we may not have considered. She's been a guiding hand for us through this entire project.
After several meetings with our stakeholders, we were able to define our needs for the project. So Loggle needs a new web platform to connect consumers to lawyers. This web platform would have a search utility and an algorithm to find lawyers on the client's end. This would work for both local and national lawyers. It would consist of a skeleton payment system that could be updated in the future, a communication system between consumers and lawyers, which they can then take off the platform should they continue to communicate, and a login system for lawyers to edit their firm information.
From all these needs and stakeholders, we've kind of created this opportunity statement. Um, Seeking out and contacting lawyers on the internet today through traditional search engines is becoming increasingly more difficult, cutting into the short time frame individuals possess when dealing with issues of law. This has kind of been elaborated on before of trying to find a lawyer in this kind of crowded internet surface that not only suits your needs based on location and type of law, but someone you can kind of connect with and you feel best would represent you. The Logo platform is kind of aimed towards creating this understanding and kind of olive branch of help to figuring that out. Here's our kind of scope of the project. We wanted the web platform to search and find for lawyers. I've elaborated more on the communication system, login for lawyers, and kind of search functionality. We really wanted to highlight a map and kind of get location set first so people are finding lawyers within their area, something that isn't too time consuming for travel, and getting them connected quickly and as close as we can find a lawyer to that person and getting that figured out for them. Uh, Originally, we wanted to have a full rollout of a website and getting that worked out. Towards the end of the project, we found out from our client that we really just needed a minimal viable product. This is kind of a beta test website for investors. She just wanted to have the functionality down, kind of the direction so that investors can see a proof of concept working so that investors are more likely to help her with more revenue or more investment and getting the ball rolling on that. So it's a flow of users kind of brings you through the client and attorney section. We have our client. It looks more complicated, but this in actuality kind of brings a client through a simpler process. We wanted a client to have no responsibility of logging in or having to pay for anything. We wanted them to flow through the site with little to no obstacles, kind of keep them on our site, and that's where we kind of have the beginning of the site, trying to find that zip code and case type, trying to get a general idea of what they're looking for, and kind of getting that map section filled out of the locations of attorneys and different other assets for them. We then populate that map and have, are they registered, yes or no? We allow them to register on the site as well. But if they are registered, we contact all of them, kind of answer several prompts on different questions. This kind of is brought by our client. She wants to have different questions kind of catered so that a attorney already has these questions figured out, so they can kind of have an idea for what kind of case they may be getting into. And if we go over to the attorney section, we have web crawl, all these things like I've said before, but an attorney is able to go on an account and sign up under that information, and they're able to change their zip code, kind of name, case types, and send out their email and phone number based upon the client and their leads, so that way there's communication only between messaging and not just public information getting them off of our platform. Here's our first couple prototypes. We have the Lawgle logo on both of those, trying to get an understanding for the questions on the first revision. We wanted to get a form, kind of just getting name and information set out. When we talked with our advisor, we kind of realized asking too many questions, and we didn't really have a branding system for it yet. So we wanted to kind of change colors, maybe make a more welcoming site, and get more information available. This brings us to our second revision, where we wanted to get the name, kind of a description of what Lawgle does for you, and get the first couple buttons of different types of lawyers, and a button that would bring down the map. This kind of shows the filtering process of what legal services do you need by searching for a keyword, and on the map searching for location purposes, kind of having different checkmark areas. This allows you to kind of pick your filters in terms of category, distance, and price. Kind of trying to fully prototype this in a wireframe so that our client can see and kind of try to get on the same page with the direction we're looking for. This is kind of our logo design and branding system. We originally were having the product called Lawgle, and that was our client's name and kind of her idea. We later changed that to MyLocalLegal, is kind of a name change she brought in about the last week or two of our project, trying to get a different identity that she consulted with different marketing agencies and trying to get that figured out. Originally, we went with a darker blue and accent colors, different banners. The dark blue background with the logo was a banner made for LinkedIn. We had a dog and an L for all of her social media stuff. We also wanted to kind of use her image and put a logo over it, kind of for a bio section, and creating this dog that she enjoyed and having in the logo, kind of that trusting symbol, kind of leaking over the L, worked out very well. With the name change being very last minute, we found out that we'd have to quickly change it, so we made a temporary fix for the logo and adjusted our branding system for that. We have our 5 different colors for our color palette, and we use those colors throughout the site. And these are the hex codes that we use, trying to get everything formatted for her so that when she moved into social media and different avenues such as business cards and such, everything was kind of together and performed a sense of unity. The MyLocalLegal, we shortened it to MLL for the website and other things. We have MyLocalLegal in bigger logos for bigger sections, but we kind of wanted to have a bigger image on the site and a smaller logo on the top left, kind of get you to the point of the site and not overwhelm you with a larger logo that we tried to figure out. We kind of want to condense this with two versions of the logo and trying to get the color palette figured out with the fonts correct.
When researching web technologies for this project, we wanted to find something that was flexible, easy to use, and that would allow us to make a lot of progress easily. And so for that reason, we chose Node.js with TypeScript. Using NPM, that gave us a lot of powerful libraries to use. One of those was Loopback 4, which is the framework that our backend is based off of. This makes it really easy to set up API endpoints and to do authentication. And speaking of authentication, we use JSON Web Tokens for authenticating users. since JSON Web Tokens are well established and they allow you to authenticate things really easily. Lastly, with our backend technologies is we use Braintree, which is a platform that allows you to process credit card payments. And that was a huge asset because they handle the storage and processing of credit cards for you so that you don't have to worry about all of the security implications that go along with that. So for our front-end framework, we chose Angular because we as a team already knew it pretty well, and it's a very flexible front-end framework. And along with that, we use Google Material Components, which make it really easy to use nice-looking form inputs and things like that. For the map search functionality of the website, we chose Leaflet and Mapbox. Those are both open source projects that allow you to show and display pins on a map, which is what we use for our search feature. And our last of the front-end technologies we used was Bootstrap, which makes it easier to lay out a web page and have it responsive and scaled to mobile devices and desktop. So here you can see the front page of MyLocalLegal. At the top there is a search bar which allows you to pick your case type, such as personal injury, disability, bankruptcy, and you also supply your zip code. And then when you press the search button, the map populates with different law firms in the zip code that you provided who handle the case type that you provided. Along the left side is a list of all of the pins on the map. You have the option to view additional info, and here you can get more detailed information about a particular firm. When you decide that you want to get in touch with a firm, you are presented with a contact form. This allows you to modify the recipients of your request. You're required to fill out a questionnaire which is specific to your case type, and then you also provide your contact information such as your first and last name, your email address, and any other notes that you want to include with your request. So that's basically the entirety of the client end of the MyLocalLegal website. So for attorneys, they can register an account and they can either assign themselves to a listing that we already have in our database, or they can create a new listing. So when an attorney logs in, they're presented with a dashboard that shows them any leads that they have been sent, and from there they have the option of opening leads that are in their inbox, which is what charges them a certain amount of credits in order to actually see that lead. And that's where the monetization for this web platform is integrated. These are our measures of success for MyLocalLegal. So we were planning on doing usability testing, but unfortunately because of the COVID-19 virus, we weren't able to execute that. So our next measure of success is monetization. So we were able to integrate the business model for MyLocalLegal into the website. And lastly, we were able to facilitate continual client communication. We had meetings with our client either once or twice a week, and that allowed us to stay on top of our clients' expectations and to align our objectives with the discussions that we were having every week.
So we kind of had obstacles with Lawgle. These kind of create the branding identity from scratch. This was kind of complicated with no direction really from our client. We kind of had to brainstorm different color schemes, different logos, kind of an overall feel for the site from just proof of concept. This kind of hindered us a little bit, but we were able to figure it out, kind of create a sense of identity for her. We wanted the design to be ever changing so that way she was able to adjust and frequently fix anything she may need to fix. We created the beta test rollout so she can prove the concept to different investors and stuff, but we didn't want the site to be kind of restricted. We wanted it to be easily flowing and kind of figuring that out as well. And then we had that change of identity at the end of the project where we went from Lawgle and all of our branding systems to MyLocalLegal.
As for the future of Lawgle, we have made it as easy as possible for Renee to continue work on this project. We have developed a continuance packet for her that includes all the relevant information that she'll need to bring this website or this beta testing website from its current state to a launched full product. This includes how to continue testing of the platform with both lawyers and normal users, and what her future developers will need for the payment systems, the search algorithms, and the map utility.
In conclusion, both projects were successful. We had a great time with both of those. We redeveloped Span Plan, and once they get the information figured out on updating all that post-pandemic, we were able to see a full rollout of our design, which will be awesome to see. We also created the beta project for both for Loggle, and we believe we learned a lot from this. We learned kind of client communication, setting up meetings, kind of keeping emails consistent, keeping them on track, figuring out what information we send to a client and what information we keep to ourselves, kind of working with that as well, and kind of just working with our group in these teams, trying to create two projects at once, divvying up work. We learned a lot of like load management, kind of taking people's strengths and putting them in certain locations so that they're able to prove the most success. Creating and refining our coding skills as well as graphics, kind of social media, working for a client and updating based on what they need and not what we personally feel is the best look. Kind of giving them general advice and taking their lead on how they want their site to go. It was a huge learning process, but we feel like we were able to create two quality products to showcase here today. I want to thank you for watching and leave any comments or concerns in the comments